What if I told you that factories owned by well-known European giants like Nissan and Ford are being replaced by Chinese electric vehicle businesses, quickly increasing their global presence? Not only is this revolutionary change revolutionizing the auto industry, but it also raises important concerns about the future of vehicle innovation and production on the continent. What does this mean for consumers and workers in Europe, and how will it affect the competitive landscape? Join us as we investigate the intriguing specifics and ramifications of this momentous shift in the automotive sector. Are you prepared to embrace Europe's EV future? Now let's get going. China will produce 25% of the electric cars sold in the EU this year. Furthermore, BYD, the biggest electric vehicle manufacturer in China, exported 19% of its total production abroad in February, marking a record-breaking percentage. The UK, the US Biden administration, and the French government, among others, have all declared that they will try to prevent Chinese EVs from receiving tax breaks or even raise import duties. However, the trend of more affordable electric and hybrid cars coming from China is continuing unabated. Some of the most well-known automakers in the world have not only called on governments and lawmakers to intervene, but they have also sparked their own retaliatory actions in an effort to stay competitive. Ford, Nissan, Honda, and other automakers are retaliating either by forming joint ventures with their most formidable competitors or by establishing startup-style divisions to devise a strategy for manufacturing more reasonably priced, mass-market electric vehicles. These are some of the ways that the biggest automakers of today want to stay competitive in this new era of electrification. For many years, the two Japanese legacy automakers have been bitter competitors, fighting out for market share both domestically and internationally. That being said, they have lagged behind their Chinese counterparts in terms of completely electric vehicle invention and uptake. Nissan and Honda have put their past antagonism aside to sign a memorandum of understanding that will see the two titans collaborate on co-developing EV technology, including software and components, in response to firms like BYD rapidly entering the Japanese market. During the announcement, Nissan's CEO, Makoto Uchida, stated, "New players are incredibly active and are gaining ground very quickly. If we continue to use traditional methods and conventional thinking, we will not be able to win the competition." Nissan demonstrated its rapid success with the mass-market Leaf, but the product is already aged. In most Western regions, the only competitively priced all-electric option is the Ariya, which is more expensive than Nissan's combustion engine vehicles. Furthermore, just like so many others, the Japanese automakers are having trouble producing smaller electric cars at the kind of cost that BYD can. For instance, the Seagull Honor Edition costs 69,800 yuan in China. It will be challenging to undercut the little EV on price when it goes on sale somewhere else, even with possible trade tariffs. The BYD Dolphin hatchback is more affordable than the Nissan Leaf and Honda ME1 SUV in Japan, where it is already available for as little as 3.6 million yen. Rather of concentrating only on advancing battery technology and lowering manufacturing costs, as three of China's largest manufacturers, BYD, NIO, and Li Auto, have done over the past 10 years, the main Japanese players, including Toyota, have pushed hybrids. Nissan and Honda have partnered to combine their resources in an effort to counter the once-in-a-century transformation in the automotive industry that Toshihiro Mabe, president of Honda, believes his firm is currently experiencing. In response to the news, Nissan President Makoto Uchida pledged to reduce the price of EVs by a third and stated that in order to improve its standing in the worldwide sales charts, his company would introduce 16 new EVs by 2026 through its ART business plan. A significant redesign of its Chinese-only hybrid and all-EV lineup would also take the battle straight to its most recent competitors. Earlier this year, Jim Farley, the CEO of Ford, disclosed that his company had established a skunkworks team comprising software designers and engineers led by former Tesla employee Alan Clark to explore methods of creating an affordable yet high-quality electric vehicle that could contend with the mass market. Farley claims that the team has been working hard for the past 2 years, utilizing the expertise of Automotive Power, an energy management startup that Ford purchased in 2023, to create a versatile platform that could support a whole line of competitive yet reasonably priced EVs. Ford, like the majority of other established automakers, has spent decades perfecting the internal combustion engine's supply chain and engineering, figuring out how to produce the most economical production lines possible. But the electric vehicle, which depends on battery suppliers and a wide range of components, many of which are produced in China and the Far East, hasn't received the same attention. On the other hand, as early as 2001, the Chinese government began funding research on battery electric vehicles. China's electrical product and component quality has increased at an astounding rate thanks to sustained government support, various financial incentives, and allegations of cheaper labor. Furthermore, those automakers have advanced in software development, creating infotainment systems that function as smoothly as the most well-known smartphones in the world, something neither Ford nor its Western rivals can claim, thanks to China's lack of Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. The introduction of Farley's Skunkworks team coincides with the American company's intense rivalry from the Chinese market, as well as Tesla, which has disclosed that it is developing a Model 2 that may cost half as much as the least expensive Model 3 now available. Nevertheless, it's possible that the results of Ford's clandestine effort won't be realized until 2026 at the worst, which may be too little, too late. In an open letter to European politicians in March, Renault's dynamic CEO and president of the Association of European Automobile Manufacturers, Luca De Meo, urged increased collaboration and partnerships among the continent's leading automakers in order to counter China's growing influence. Rather than following the trend of imposing higher tariffs on Chinese imports, De Meo wrote, "I believe that we can achieve our aims through joint efforts and partnerships between the public and private sectors." Instead, the focus was shifted to consolidating forces, as China has done over the past few decades. The CEO of Renault wants big initiatives that look into and improve smart charging and the supply of essential materials, as well as for Europe's leaders to support and invest in domestic EV technology. Europe would benefit from studying Chinese producers who have advanced the technology and affordability of electric cars by a generation. Relations with China will need to be managed, he stated. Completely closing the door to them would be the worst possible response. De Meo is choosing a cooperative and transparently competitive strategy, whereas the Biden administration in the U.S. is acting more assertively. The president has directed the Commerce Department to launch a study into the possible security risk associated with the entry of Chinese vehicles equipped with Chinese software that is continually connected. Although Biden has not yet taken any concrete action to stop Chinese imports, administration officials have made it apparent that they are looking into and drafting a variety of policy measures to stop the flow of Chinese goods and safeguard the country's own auto industry. Though it currently has a footprint in North America with a bus production facility, BYD has previously stated that it has no intentions to introduce its low-cost passenger cars in the U.S. market at this time. The U.S. market is an interesting market, but it's very complicated if you're talking about EVs, according to Stella Lai, CEO of BYD Americas, who spoke with Yahoo Finance. Nevertheless, there are rumors that BYD is considering opening a factory in Mexico, which would increase its market share there and maybe facilitate exports to the United States. Luxury brands from the West, such as BMW, Maserati, Mercedes-Benz, Porsche, Bentley, Rolls-Royce, and more lately Tesla, have become popular in China because they are perceived as status symbols for the wealthy and celebrated. Nonetheless, based on studies, sales of high-end vehicles in China appear to be driven by Gen Z consumers, who, with an average age of only 29, present a distinct set of difficulties. China's youth and rich are digital natives who love customization and electrification. They want their cars to have an endless supply of software, processing power, and digital entertainment. Additionally, consumers in its home market are increasingly choosing all-electric cars, while the majority of the luxury automakers mentioned above only have a relatively small selection of plug-in models at this time. China's automakers have responded to this, with companies like Yanwang, Neo, Hi-Fi, and Xpeng creating high-end electric cars with an array of cutting-edge features and opulent, fully customizable interiors in an attempt to compete with the most sought-after license plates from the West. Western luxury automakers are finding that they need to adjust their strategies in order to meet the demands of Generation Z. Some of these strategies include switching to a digital-first approach, forming exclusive alliances with mobile gaming companies, and providing a degree of customization and specification that isn't even accessible to Western consumers. While businesses like Rolls-Royce and Bentley have long provided a specially personalized service, additional things that come to mind aren't necessarily software, digital customer care, state-of-the-art in-car entertainment, or sensing with an owner's online environment. But compared to, example, Volkswagen or Ford, these ultra-luxury manufacturers can probably capitalize on their brand prestige to a far larger extent. Nevertheless, it won't be long before Yanwang's muscular, tank-turning, and leaping U9 model gets the attention of China's ostentatious populace. If you found this video intriguing and want to keep up with more exciting updates and in-depth analyses on the latest trends in the automotive industry, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.